I've liked the group, the way they practiced this week, and obviously, as we were talking before, you got the list of who's out, and the question mark is the league question, so I'm going to answer it without you guys asking. And with Corey, and was able to do some stuff on Monday, and then hadn't done a lot since, and so that's where we don't know, as we go into Thursday's practice. And I would always, if guys can play, we're going to play them, and I think they need to play, and they work too hard for these opportunities to not play. But if a guy can't go, then I feel good with the ones at that position. That I think we've had a good week of practice at the running back spot with Taiwan and Dare and Bradrick. So, but the kids have been good this week, and I appreciate that. We got one more opportunity, Camp Randall, and we got 6 this year. So, want to maximize that and hope to get better in some areas that I think we need to get better at, and some of the things we've done well, want to build on it and start making that part of our identity.
When you haven't played a program ever, is it difficult to get enough stuff on them to be confident that you know what they're about?
No, I think that it's you never in the early games. You're using some things from last year and trying to be as familiar as you can with. They've got 2 games that we've gotten on them, but you go into every game really knowing that you're not going to see everything. That there's going to be something new, and I think you talk that with your kids, and that they get used to preparing that way and knowing what we're working on is likely, but we're not sure. And I thought that was one of the things that we did well last week, was adjusting as the game went on, and that's you think of that as coaches, but that's the kids having a good frame of reference and being able to take that and feel confident to go. So we know there's going to be some things that we haven't seen, haven't prepared for, and then you've got to adjust through the course of the game.
Well, with Corey, maybe not being able to play, A.J. Taylor, would he be the guy in kickoff for times? Do you know?
Right now, A.J. looks to be the first one that we would go with.
What has he shown? I know he's worked on it in practice, but it's different doing practice than in the game.
Right.
Just got to find out. Okay.
You'll know when I know.
What do you want to see out of your nickel cornerback with Jamerson out? Just no drop-off?
Yeah, I mean, that's I wouldn't want to ever be quoted as saying that, because I like Jam. He's a good player, and he's done that. But all these kids, that when they come in, you want them to do their assignment, do their part in the defense, do their part in the offense, do their part in the special teams, and they've earned that right, or else we shouldn't be putting them in. And then you want them to do their best, and they're all so different, So I don't think you go in saying you got to be that person, right? Because it doesn't happen. But you want them to be their best, and they got to hold up their end of the bargain. And really, what you want them to do is you want them to feel confident enough to have that ability to play, to be that. If they know what they're doing, know how to do it, know why they're doing it, so they're confident, then go play. And you know what, you got to make plays, and they'll make plays, and you got to respond from it. So you just want them to play their best. You don't replace someone else. They got to play their best.
I know you weren't here when Alec James first arrived on campus, but I'm guessing he was in some camps when you were here.
I was here when he first arrived on campus, because he was a big star of our youth camp. He would come over, and he was 3 feet taller than everyone else. So I may have been here when he first came to campus.
Was that like 8th grade or some of the grade school, probably?
It was definitely 8th grade, but I think he was 6th and 7th as well.
What do you remember from him? And
Big.
What has he done in the last, since you've been here now?
I think that I talked to him. I remember talking with him last year, and I think I made the comment, it's fun to see him growing and progressing. And he goes, I enjoy. He goes, last year I didn't. So this 2 years ago, wasn't quite sure what I was doing, and with experience, with knowledge, I think Noakes does a great job of coaching those guys. Starting to play, and that's that kind of that natural evolution that I think kids go through. When they first, think when they first play, they don't want to screw up. And then they may have success or something good happens. I can do this, and then they want to do it. And I think now Alec is playing the game. You know, he's taking in information from the defense. He knows. I don't even think he's spending a lot of time. What do I do on this play? He's executing and playing. That's fun to see.
You mentioned Noakes. When he played at Oregon State and you were there, I think at least one. What did you see in him then, and what led you to bring him in at Pitt, and then bring him here?
Always enjoyed being around him when he was a player and respected the way he worked and was with people. And then was excited I remember when he came back and first, you know, I found out he was getting into coaching and he had worked with Mike, and we'd talk about, you know, how Mike was excited. You know, Noakes he's going to be a good one. And then when I had the opportunity at Pitt, you know, to get a chance to work with him day in and day out and see what he did with he and Aaron together. You know, Noakes did not make Aaron Donald, but Noakes helped Aaron Donald significantly. That was fun to see, and I've been just as excited and appreciative of what he's done. He's got good room. You know, it's a good group of guys to work with. But I think they're all, you know what's neat about that room is they're good for each other.
Your offensive line having to mix and match a couple of guys so far this season, do you think it helps that they had some experience doing that same thing last year, having to have somebody step up one week to the other?
Yeah, I mean, it's all experiences help, right? You know, I mean, if you go through it and you don't panic. We've been here before, so I think in that way it's beneficial. I think those guys spent a ton of time working, and you know, camp we were banged up, right? So worked a lot of different combinations. So that's I think all of your experiences help build you to who you are.
Is there such a thing as momentum going from one week to the next when the opponent may change dramatically? I mean, the level of competition, and you may be at home one week, road on the next. I mean, if you play a good game this week, clean, does it guarantee anything the week after that?
And that's what's great about sports is nothing's guaranteed, and so that's why I think you focus on the things that you can control, and I don't even believe anymore that there are upsets. There are games. You play games, and the team that's best that day on the field in the stadium, the team that finds a way to score one more point than their opponent, they win. And I think you can build on things through the course of the year and individually on that, but that's the beauty of it. You have to go out and get the opportunity to do it every day, and then once a week you play, and that's nothing's for certain. That's why you play the game.
How's the decision-making process with a player like Corey and his situation different now as opposed to during the middle of the season playing Ohio State?
It's not different at all. I mean, that'd be pretty arrogant to think that it's if a kid can play, he's going to play. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And you got 12. We have 12 opportunities as a team if we earn the right to play more games, but these kids are guaranteed none of that. We saw it with Chryst, we saw it with Natrell Jamerson. And if you do all this work so you can play the game, and if you can play the game, you're going to play.